He says, وَلَا يَزْنُونَ. And they don't commit zina. They don't have boyfriends and girlfriends. They don't have secret relationships. Why did he mention that? Because for some people it's always there. He's a good-looking young guy. He walks around in the mall and the girl looks at him and goes, hee hee. And he's like, oh, this is easy. You know, nobody's watching. I think it's okay. Should be all right. And he stops himself. He still stops. It's hard. I know it's hard, guys. I know. It's hard. But you stop yourself. The girl thinks that guy's looking at me. Man, he must think I'm really pretty. And she starts smiling. She stops herself. No, this is wrong. I can't do this. This is not right. Just because my parents aren't watching. Just because the police isn't here to stop me. Doesn't mean it's okay. وَلَا يَزْنُونَ. They don't do it. They don't behave like that. There are young men in, like where I come from in the US, obviously, you know, kids go to college, and college in the summer is bad. You know, it's bad. And you have an 18, 19-year-old boy whose hormones are raging inside of him. And then there's like, in his college classroom, there's girls sitting that are barely dressed. And this girl comes over to him and says, hey, can you help me with the homework? And he's being tested by Allah. He's being tested. You guys are going to be tested. That's not just in America, by the way. That's not just in America. You'll be tested in the mall. You will be tested with this. And sometimes it's not going to be easy, especially for the young people here. It's not going to be easy. Maybe you have friends on your phone, man. Your parents don't know about it. You got a secret. You got another profile on Facebook. You're just updating it right now. And you have to unfriend all of those girls. Yep, you do. You listening? You have to unfriend them. And don't call them back. And don't text them back. And when they say, what happened? You don't like me anymore? You don't even say, no, it's not you. It's just Islam. No, don't do that. Don't even talk back. Just leave it. Drop it. End of story. No more. Girls, if you're up to this, stop it. You stop yourselves. You know, this is not something your parents will come and control. When you are teenagers and you have hormones and you reach the age of puberty and you're attracted to the opposite gender, that means in Islam you are adults and you have to make your own responsible decisions. Your parents are no longer responsible for your Islam. You are responsible. If you are 14 years old, 15 years old, even 13 years old, and you die today, then Allah will not say, minor, go easy on him. You are treated as an adult in our deen. This religion makes you an adult early. The moment you start feeling a little funny about the other gender, you're an adult. You will be tried by Allah like a 50-year-old, like a 30-year-old. You're the same as them. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Don't think of yourself as just a kid. You are an adult. وَلَا يَزْنُونَ. There is, the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam actually had a specified time where he would teach women. Where he would do that. Especially the women of Medina. And actually the women of Medina were different from the women of Makkah. They were actually a lot more bold. And the Sahaba even noticed that they were more bold. Like Umar radiallahu anhu said, they're not like the women of Makkah. It's like, so there was a difference between them. And they're outspoken. And we even know that from like, you know, many athar and many hadith texts. Like, you know, Umar is giving khutbah radiallahu anhu and a woman gets up and says, you can't say that. Allah said this. Like, lady, why are you not in the sister section behind a glass? Why are you... Oh, and you're talking to Umar. Umar. You don't want to like point a finger at Umar like that, but she did. She's like, gutsy lady, you know? She did that. And, you know, there are assumptions that men and women should not interact with each other at all, under any circumstance. That's what Islam wants. That isn't true. As a matter of fact, non-mahram, man and woman, talking to each other in public, outside, is mentioned in the Quran. Musa alayhi salam went up to two girls that were not his mahram. Then he went over and talked to them and said, what's wrong with you ladies? Ma khatbukuma, what's wrong with you? And they said, well, we can't feed our animals until the whole flock is done. They had a conversation. He didn't go up to them and say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ya ukhtayya, my two sisters, fil Islam. He doesn't know even if they're not Muslims. They don't know. They don't know him, he doesn't know them. They don't know he's Musa alayhi salam. They don't know that. They don't know any of that. But they had a conversation with each other. A non-mahram talking to another non-mahram about what? A problem. They were wrestling with sheep. So you had to go talk to them. What are you doing? What's going on? Can I help with something? But he didn't prolong the conversation. He kept it to the point. What are we learning in Quran? If you keep your conversation to the point, it's fine. You might have a female co-worker. You might have a class. I have students. I have to answer their questions. They have a right to me as much as the brothers have a right to me. Because I'm teaching a class. It's a matter of justice. I can't put them in the back and not give them the same kind of attention. It's not fair. And I brought this up. If in education, is it fair or not? This is no. It's acceptable. There are ulama that are more conservative on this, and there are ulama that allow it too. But there are plenty of mainstream Ahl Sunnah across the schools of thought scholars that allow this. That allow, for example, this kind of setting, if it's meant with certain kind of restrictions. There shouldn't be small talk. If I crack a joke, it's to the entire audience, not to sisters by themselves, or something, because that's inappropriate. That's not right. Right? And you're supposed to have a certain line, there's supposed to be a certain line of discomfort between you and myself. Or between you and any other non-mahram. There's supposed to be a line of discomfort. There's supposed to be a level of seriousness. You're not supposed to be giggly. When you come up individually and talk to a non-mahram man. You're not supposed to be like, no, I have a question, brother. You said this. Why? Learn to be like that. Learn not to be giggly around non-mahram men. Not smiley. Jazakallahu khairan for so many things you're doing. No. Say that on your own. Don't come up and say it to me. Don't come up and say it to me. Say that to your dad. Jazakallahu khairan, Baba. You're so awesome. Great. When you come up to a non-mahram, if it's your teacher, if it's the imam of the masjid, if it's your employer, keep a serious tone. Keep a serious tone. When a woman uses a serious tone, the man becomes serious automatically. Girl comes up to you, you think she's kind of pretty. She comes up to you and says, Assalamu alaikum. You're not going to get your play around now. It's done. It's over. But she comes up to you and says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. No good. No good for you. Then you'll be like, oh, wa alaikum salam. That's bad for you. So you have to keep a stern voice. And these rules, I'm kind of alluding to them, Surah An-Nur already covers them. These rules are already there. You have to keep a stern voice. You have to keep your eyes low. As low as it doesn't mean you don't look away like, brother, I have a question. Like you don't do that either. But if you don't stare at the person. You're like, yes, sister, do ask. No, not like that. Not like that. يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. That's normal. It's not like over the top, but the idea is to keep yourself low. Don't stare. Make just enough eye contact to get your point across, and that's it. That's all. You don't need more than that. So these certain things, they are the guidelines by which public settings make it okay. Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to Amazed by the Quran, a series in which I try sharing with you things I find amazing about the Quran. And today inshallah I'll share something with you about how Allah gives us universal lessons in the course of just telling a story. I happen to believe, and I think that is a universal belief for Muslims, that everything in the Quran is of timeless value. And when Allah is telling us even the account of something that happened long ago, every detail He mentions is actually very selective. In other words, there's lots of things that happen in a story, especially in a historical account, and you can't have enough, there's no such thing as too many details, But Allah is very selective in telling a story, and He only tells us bits that are the most relevant for our guidance, right? So Allah will skip lots and lots of details about the life of Ibrahim and tell us the parts that are the most essential for our permanent guidance. Similarly, the story of Musa alayhi salam, so much repeated in the Quran, and yet He only highlights a few things that are of key value. So one thing that really struck out to me, and I've been thinking about it for some time, is when Musa alayhi salam, when Moses had fled and he was in Madian, and he helped these two girls, get water.
for their animals. And then they left, and their father asked, how did you get water so early? And he sent one of them back. And Allah actually, of all these details, like you would imagine Allah would highlight details about like Judgment Day or the battle between the Pharaoh and Moses, or, you know, like when he was able to come back and challenge, or how he escaped, like big details. But in the middle of all of that, in the final revelation of Allah, Allah takes the time out to mention this little, what seems like a minor detail. وَجَاءَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ. One of them came all the way, walking. Now there's two ways to translate this. She came walking shyly, like in a shy way. And she came walking over to him despite being shy. There's two ways of ala istihya, ala raghmi min istihyaiha. There's two ways of looking at it, okay? And I was fascinated that Allah would actually go out of His way to, in His final revelation to humanity until the Day of Judgment, to highlight the way a woman walked. Like, what benefit could that have? Why is that important? And I realized that Allah Azza wa Jal, He highlights things in His book that are so pertinent to human guidance. The way a female walks is a powerful thing. It has an impact in society. As a matter of fact, the female has a presence that has been talked about across cultures. Across cultures, just her presence has a power, has an awe. It inspires something. At the very least, it catches the attention of the male, but there's more to it than that. There's actually a psychological, even a spiritual effect when there's the presence of a woman and when she's walking by. This is something societies were so aware of that in many cultures, the elite women of a society were actually kept hidden away. They were kept, like in Korean society, old Korean society, for example, they wouldn't go out until the nighttime, the elite women. That has nothing to do with Islam. It's just they were aware of the power of the presence of women. And so Allah Azza wa Jal describes, and He's highlighting to women and to men, the effect that the role of a woman in public can have. And yet at the same time, Islam is not saying keep women indoors because they have too much of an effect. They have too much of an impact. Guys know, the ones that are watching this video, they're sitting in an auditorium classroom and a girl walks into the class, right? She doesn't have to be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but so long as she's a female, you're gonna be like, everybody in the room is gonna at least for a second look and then, okay, yeah, it has an effect. It has a guy walks in, that's what happens. So now Allah is highlighting a couple of things. One of the most beautiful things that's being highlighted here is despite her shyness. In other words, she has to engage in society. She has to go out. And yes, there will be people that stare. And sometimes if you have a vulgar society, people comment and whistle and make passes at them, or worse. There are societies where even harassing women on the street has become common. Sometimes verbally and sometimes even physically, it's become common. But yet she has to engage in that society. So she has to find a way of engaging in it that she can protect herself and yet at the same time be a participant in society. The second thing that's really beautiful here is she walked shyly. In other words, she walked guarding her modesty. She realized that she has a presence, and she realized that this is something that has an impact on others. It's not just about her, it's actually about recognizing the presence that she carries. And so she walked in a way that is shy. She walked in a way that is not showing off or is not provocative as to get the attention. And she's walking over to a young man, as a matter of fact, in this case, ala istihya, A female must recognize the power that she has. And so even the way in which a woman walks is highlighted in such a subtle, beautiful way, And it's not like this girl was shy. It's not. She walked over by herself to this strange man and said, Inna abi yad'uka liyajziyaka ajra ma saqayta lana. My dad's calling you, okay? He wants to pay you for the services you provided. And if she was all that shy and scared, she would have called her sister, and at least two of them would have come. But she came by herself. And her dad was confident enough in her to send her by herself. So there's this amazing balance between confidence and engagement, even when you're on your own, and at the same time holding on to your modesty. All of it captured in just the way that she walked. It's incredible. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.